Hi, Wade from Chandler Ltd. here. We're with our friends at Sweetwater at the 2012 NAMM. We have a new amp I guess we want to tell you about today. It's a 19-watt English-style head. It's inspired by amps like a Watkins Dominator, Selmer, 18-watt Marshalls, Vox AC15s, but it's not a reissue of a Marshall or an amp like that. It is mostly my own circuits. It's EL84s, just in an English-style configuration. There are some interesting things about it. You can actually bias the input stage 4 different ways, so it's almost like 4 different amp presets, with number 1 being kind of a Marshall-style bias. Number 3 is based on a Selmer amp that I really liked, and 2 and 4 are a couple that I came up with. They affect the kind of character of the amp, how it saturates, how bright or full it sounds. So some really nice little presets to tweak the amp in. It's great for matching it to other various guitars, like a Les Paul being more full. You might want to go with 1, for example. An SG or Junior, you can kind of tune it in. Volume, there's high and low inputs. The normal input is actually relatively gainy. It tends to sound like a classic rock amp at that point, and then you can get really high gain by going in the high input. It's not a clean amp. It's not a Fender style sound. It's a kind of a rocky little English amp for sure. You have a Baxandall tone control with a high and low shelf. I did that because I preferred how it affected the character of the amp. A lot of amps have a treble mid-bass circuit, and I just thought it changed too much of the actual tone of the amp. It started to change what the amp actually sounded like. So part of this is there's several tubes in there driving the tone circuit as well, so it adds to the saturation and color of the amp also. And then the last control is a shape. You can actually contour the tonality of the power section. It's not an EQ. It is actually changing how the power amp section runs. The mid-range is affected, the harmonic distortion, and the saturation of the amp. And there you go. It's 19 watts, GAV19t it's called, and it's coming to Sweetwater soon.